What's going on, everyone? It's Mason from MH Wedding Films, and I'm excited today to take you through a behind-the-scenes video and show you just what a day in the life of a wedding filmmaker looks like. Hopefully this sheds a little bit of light if you're looking to get into the wedding filmmaking industry. And if you have any questions or concerns, just leave them in the comments below and I'll make sure to film another behind the scenes, and I will try to answer any of the questions you had in the next video I make. So let's head into Premiere Pro now and we will look at the wedding day. All right. Wedding day. We're getting ready for our wedding today. It's an outdoor venue. I'm just getting some stuff prepped up here in my place. Yeah, I'll kind of show you what's getting packed in once I get in the car here in a second. And then I guess I just didn't decide to show you what was in or what I was doing. So here, I'll just walk you through it. So I'm grabbing my gimbal. I got my bags packed. Can't really see what's inside of it. So that's something I'm going to upgrade for the next video, but here I am loading into my car. All right, so we're all packed in here, ready to go. We got our accessories bag, cameras, drones, there's a monitor. We got our stabilizer, tripod, extra lighting stands, everything ready here to go. All right, we're on our way. So today we were heading to a backyard wedding venue. I'm not exactly sure what it looks like, but I'm excited. Backyard weddings are pretty fun. They're usually a bit different in terms of scheduling compared to like a organized a venue. But yeah, it should be a good day. I'm excited to show you kind of how my day runs with all of this. But yeah, so I'm heading out now. I'm gonna be there about 10 minutes early. I like to show up a little bit earlier than the photographers and everyone else, just to kind of show that, you know, you're there and you're excited for the couple to get married. And it's not, you want to build that relationship right off the start. You don't want to just come in and be like, hey, what's up, I'm here, let's do this. You want to actually put some effort in and show that you are there to capture their day and give them all of your attention and everything. So there's going to be some cool details here. There always is at backyard weddings. Since they have a little bit more room for creativity, there will be some cool stuff to shoot. So excited to take you through it. We're going to be there soon, so I'll start kind of going through my process, what I start with, and yeah, we'll go from there. So here's a little tip for everyone. When you are heading to a venue, make sure that your tank is full. Mine's not, and I was a little bit stressed because I had to go quite far that day. I made it, but yeah, something to consider when you are going to a wedding. Just fill up the day before, then you don't have to worry about it. One less thing to stress about. Also, always map out your trip before, see what it's going to take you. Like, I'm going to put up another video about this quick little tip I learned for GPSs, and you can see at what time you're leaving, what traffic's going to be like and stuff like that, and you can kind of get a good estimate of how long it's going to take you to get there. But just check how long it's going to take you. Make sure you're not late to the wedding. Okay, so we just arrived. I'm going to take my camera off of the media mic and go in and say hello to everyone. Okay, so this is it. This is where we start our wedding day. And something that I didn't show was just me introducing myself, saying hi to everyone, you know, letting everyone know that I'm, you know, just a normal guy there to film their wedding. You know, read the room if you can, and see what they, you know, see what the vibe is like. Are they, you know, chill? Is the groom stressed out? Is the bride stressed out? Just kind of get a vibe right away, and then just kind of you're there to film the wedding, but you're also there to make sure everything is kind of running smooth, and you want to be helpful rather than, you know, someone that they don't remember or someone that they don't care to remember from their wedding day. You can see I'm just kind of chatting with them, making the guys know that I'm one of them, you know? I'm laid back. And then here I am just getting some behind the scene, or sorry, not behind the scenes, some flat lay shots of the rings. These were at the groom's starting location, which normally they aren't. For me, normally they're at the bride's location, but today they were at the groom's. So I'm just kind of getting my shots that I know I need to make the video. Nothing crazy. Once you start to film more than one wedding a year, you kind of get into a routine of what you're shooting. But yeah, just kind of checking out the place, seeing there's family photos of them and stuff, and getting whatever shots that I think might be important to have in their video that are meaningful to them. And then, yeah, I'm just changing it up here, trying to get something different for a shot. Variety is the name of the game when it comes to making a wedding video. Obviously, if you have the same shot over and over and over again, it's pretty repetitive. And the couple is not going to enjoy that. So don't do it. So even though it looks like nothing's really happening in this shot, I did a digital zoom out and blur on that shot. So now the groom and the groomsmen are kind of starting to get dressed here. One thing to take into consideration is almost at every wedding, the groom and the groomsmen don't know how to do ties or bow ties, so there's probably going to be a YouTube tutorial moment, or one person knows how to, and they're kind of lining up to take turns doing it, which I think these might be clip-on bow ties here, which is great. So yeah, we're just grabbing some B-roll shots. Like, I like to shoot, shoot with a purpose. Don't just go nuts. Don't go trigger happy, just filming absolutely everything. Shoot with a purpose. If it's a shot you know you're not going to use, don't shoot it. But normally, like, the moments of people kind of interacting, such as this shot right here, these are always great to have.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, cheers. There you go.
Yeah, so it's just a shot of them kind of hanging out. The groom's here. They're having a couple drinks to kind of chill out before the big day. And I think that these are important moments to capture because you're capturing the personality of the groom or the bride, right? So I always just kind of, when I show up, I try to get a vibe of the couple, see what, their style, personalities are, and then I just basically record what I think that they would want incorporated in their video. I don't really have a set style for every wedding film we do. They're all customizable to the couple, and basically when I show up on a wedding day, if it's more of like a backyard one and they're having like red Solo cup drinks like this, I'm going to film it, I'm going to include it. If it's more of like a large venue and they're doing champagne toasts and stuff like that with, like elegant glasses, I include that. I include whatever I think that they would enjoy in their wedding film. Again, here I'm just setting up for another shot. They had a baby, so this was a nursery that they had just kind of made for their son Brooks. And yeah, like, I just think that these kind of like personal touches, if you can find a way to include them in a wedding film, it highlights the video for the couple, and you want to continuously add personal touches into the video, and I think things like these are a great way to do it. So you can see I'm just grabbing a couple of B-roll coverage shots of the nursery, and this is all on a gimbal. I'm getting nice kind of steady, slow tracking shots here. Pushes in, the classic rotation, just things like that.
1 second to set up.
All right, so we've arrived with the bride. So she was already in her dress when we showed up. I did get the shot of her getting the back of her dress done up, stuff like that. It was kind of just like a quick scheduled day. That's the one thing with backyard weddings, is you do really have to make sure you check the schedule and you provide a timeline that works best with the package or investment option that they've chosen.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Look at me.
Again, getting some shots of the bride with her dress on. I really like these like pan up shots with the gimbal. I think they're awesome. I think it doesn't matter the wedding, like whatever wedding style you're shooting, if you kind of get those like pan up, slow, smooth gimbal shots, they always look really cinematic and really beautiful. And I know that that's one thing that couples love, is when, well, the bride loves when you get those like really elegant, slick shots of her in her dress. And I'll make sure to include a tutorial on how I kind of stabilize the gimbal shots to get them so they're like very, very, very smooth and just more cinematic.
I'm just gonna step around. Yeah. I can make it. There we go. So nimble.
Again, just going in here to get some detail shots.
How's the build up been?
It's kind of like
yeah, stressful.
some more hard light here on her with the shadow in the front. I'm also just talking to her, just seeing how she is, seeing how she's feeling. Again, building that trust between the couple, the bride, making sure that they're comfortable with me being there filming them. You know, it's a different feeling when you have a camera just in your face all day, so you really want to make sure they're comfortable with you.
I honestly think I'm just like, not that I'm like stressed. Are you guys dressed?
The girls are. Jess is just finishing up.
So do you want them to stand?
I've already chatted with the photographers at this point. There's two of them. The one that is in scene with me here is the main photographer. And I'm like, I try to be as easygoing as I can during the day. If they want to shoot something somewhere, as long as it's not like insanely harsh light or something, I'm just gonna agree with them and continue on with them. Again, the one thing you want to do is just make sure everyone is in a good mood on the wedding day and everything is flowing smoothly.
I might just throw
Chloe, do you want to get your dress on now?
So we're back getting some more detail shots here. This jean jacket, it's beautiful. Just making sure I'm including everything that they might want to see included in their wedding video. And if you have time throughout your day, you can basically just kind of play around and get creative, right? Like if you wanted to try a different style or a different way of shooting, just take the time and kind of get a unique shot if you're in the position to do so.
Got it.
All right, so we're moving into some big moments here. This is the first look between the father and the bride. So you can see I'm just getting a shot of her as she walks up. And again, if it's something that doesn't work for the video, like this shot obviously worked for the video, but say for some reason your camera doesn't, I don't know, film this section or something, just cut to the actual first look. Don't stress, but just try to get as much coverage as you can. You can see like I'm jumping around here quick. I'm going to jump in front of her dad to get a shot kind of over his shoulder as she starts to walk up. And if you want to get that shot and don't want her to walk up, say, hey, just kind of walk halfway and stop. I'm going to swing to the back of you, which is what I said here. You just want to make sure that you kind of, because we are shooting video, you want to know what you need to edit together. So you can see me running here quick. Jumping to the other angle and getting his reaction for the first look, because I always think that the reaction of the person that's kind of highlighted in this, so like the father-daughter, right, his reaction I want to get, and then I'll swing around here and you'll see I'll start to get some shots of her face too. And usually when you're in the editing room, you can cut the two together and make it look like you had two angles. You make it look like there was two people there. That was like insanely quick though, this turnaround there, so normally it's not that fast. Normally you have more time to set up.
This shot here quickly.
And then they're just grabbing a quick little family photo here. And I'm always, during family photos of any kind, I'm just getting like the candid parts of it rather than trying to pose them and making the photographer angry. So I'm just including this shot here of the first look with the bridesmaids just to give you some reference for the next shot that we're about to go into here, because the camera wasn't rolling for it. So yeah, basically now after they've done the first look, I'm just getting coverage of them hanging out. Again, most of the stuff that I want to film is candid, less posed. I think it looks better. So yeah, we're just kind of hanging out, lingering, getting whatever kind of detail shots we need. I don't like shooting a lot of clips when they're doing these posed kind of shots. These are more for the photographer, and even during family photos, unless I have extra time that I'm kind of hanging out there and you know, I'm available to get more shots, I'll just go film something else. I'll go film the empty reception space or just something else during it. Except for these kind of moments. Now the bride's on her own here, and these are, you know, I'm doing this pan again with the gimbal. These are great moments to kind of get some solo shots. Also, I'm super tight in on all these shots just because you can see the photographers running around really close to me. So I want to try to avoid getting them in. So you can see I just snapped a little bit of a tighter shot just to avoid them being in the background, because sometimes they're just kind of walking around. They walk right into your shots. So just be aware of that, and tight shots are always a good option.
Perfect.
Riley, can I get you just to look down at your flowers? There we go.
Now you'll see I'm giving a little bit of direction.
I'm just going to get one of you smiling at me too in a second here.
Just setting up a couple shots because we have time.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, look at me. There we go.
Yeah, so just take your time and grab whatever shots you need there. If the photographer's not taking advantage of the empty time you have, just jump in. You're there as well. You're as needed as a photographer. So get in there, get your shot. Don't be afraid. So we're jumping to another big moment here. This is the first look between the groom and the bride. You can see
big smile whenever you can too, man. There you go.
I'm already filming here. I'm doing a little bit of direction because you can see like the photographer's not shooting this stuff. So instead of me trying to kind of jump around what they're doing, I'll just start filming once they're walking up. Like, it's more candid. I think it looks more natural. The majority of the time you get the shot you need quicker, and then you're not battling to get the shot that the photographer's trying to get. And here I'm just staying as close as I can. I'm trying to shoot around the photographer. Yeah, there's a lot of people there on the day, so you're basically just trying to keep to yourself and make sure you get the shots you need. Also, I definitely recommend having a zoom lens on your camera for a wedding day. This gives me the ability to be this far away, but still jump to like a 70 mil or something like that where I can get a tight shot. And also, you're going to get more variety when you shoot with a zoom lens.
To hold hands and just kind of walk towards me. Just give me 1 second here.
So again, I'm just doing some direction because we were shooting the same stuff over and over. So I just kind of.
1 second, ready? 3, 2, 1. You can start walking.
I'm just jumping in to pull them to do something different, so I have some variety.
Thank you.
It's literally the exact same spot. I'm just
before you hit the sun. Perfect.
wanting to add a little bit more of a mix of shots. Also, things like this, a sign blew over the wind, and just running over and picking it up. If the bride and groom see you doing this stuff, like, they know that you're there, you're doing a good job, and you care about the wedding. And I do care about the wedding. Like, I want to make sure that all the shots look great for them. I don't want to film this sign when it's blown over in this empty ceremony space. So yeah, I'm going to obviously pick it up and put it in place and make sure it looks beautiful for them. With that being said, if it is something at a bigger venue that you know you shouldn't touch, don't touch it. Because, like, if it is glass or something and you drop it and it breaks, that is going to be worse. So just kind of, you know, be smart, make smart decisions, and only do stuff if you think it's going to actually be a good idea, I guess. You got to use your own judgment on that. So we're getting more coverage of the ceremony space here because everyone's just kind of hanging out and chilling at this point. So I just want to make sure that I'm utilizing my time, capturing every moment. So I'm basically just kind of trying to block out the person in the background here with the flowers, and just I'm making sure I'm on a really tight zoom here. You have to just kind of be aware on a wedding day that there's going to be people in the background and stuff, and it's really not their fault. Like, she's just out trying to walk the baby here. So realistically, just take your time and shoot when they leave or whatever kind of happens.
We're going to get some photos at the next location. They're going to do some photos before the ceremony instead of after. So they did the first look. Everything's kind of set now, so we're going to move to the next spot here. And yeah, get all of the shots of the bride and groom, all that stuff. I think they just want to get it done before the ceremony and kind of after be able to just kind of hang out at the reception. So yeah, it's It's different, but it's a good way to do it too, that everything's kind of done before the ceremony, so right after they can kind of have some drinks. They're grabbing the cooler right now. I can see them running by. Have some drinks and kind of just chill out and enjoy the day rather than make everything super hectic. So we're gonna go to the next spot, look at the camera on there, and we will go from there.
Here's a time lapse of me traveling to the next location. Whee! Okay, so like I said, bit of a different day here. They are doing most of the bridal party shots before the actual ceremony. So we arrive at this location, this farm location. This is where they want to film and do photos of everybody before the actual ceremony. And you'll find this is pretty common. Like at a lot of weddings now, they'll do like a first look. They'll do all their bridal party photos and just kind of get all that stuff out of the way so that they can enjoy the rest of the day. I think it's a great idea because as someone that just did get married recently, when you have to shoot so many photos, it's kind of a bit much. For some people, at least. For some people, it's not. They like it. You got to do whatever you got to do. So they're hanging out here. I'm just zipping around as always, getting candid shots, getting B-roll, whatever you want to call it. Things that I think I could possibly use. If I don't use it, whatever, it's fine. If you do use it, even better. These are also always good moments to get when it's like the group party video clips, because you can usually incorporate the audio that you filmed on the day in the actual highlight film. And it's always fun to add a little bit of the original audio from the actual clip. It was extremely windy out here, so you can see everyone's trying to keep their hair from going in their face, but you can see here like super quickly I'm jumping between each side of the bridal party to get 2 shots there quickly that I could try to incorporate. Here's some more of the groomsmen and the bride. This kind of stuff, like I'll shoot a couple shots of this, but normally I don't include a lot of this. It's very posed, you can see there's not a lot of movement. But you can't see since there isn't a lot of movement. I'm trying to do a pan here to just try and add some more life to the shot. So yeah, normally I'm just zipping around. This is like a fun shot. This is when you're glad you're there. They're gonna pick up the groom. So you start filming now. And then you can use whatever piece of that as you want, right? Because there's so much movement, there's so much energy. And like this right here, now they're moving again, but like when they're posing and standing still, that's the stuff I'm not going to use for video. You can see me snap in and get a tighter shot there. And that is the beauty of having a zoom lens, is you get so many different angles just because you have the ability to zoom in. As the photographer is shooting with the groom and the groomsmen, I just kind of snuck away with the bride and just kind of went to go get some more creative cinematic shots. I find like if you're just sitting there and nothing's really happening and the bride's on her own, just grab her quick and go shoot some fun shots.
Okay. Whenever you are ready, go really slow so you can move it forward.
Just come right towards your left.
Yeah, so you can go forward a bit.
And you can kind of hear me as I'm directing this.
There you go.
Just try to make the process as simple as possible.
Touch the grass.
Again, not many people have been on camera before. So you are like, I think when you're a wedding filmmaker, you wear a lot of hats, right? You're the camera operator, you're a director, and you're the editor, right? So I'm always thinking about like these 3 things when I'm filming. What's going to be helpful for me editing? How am I going to kind of pose the shot?
Keep going.
And keep the camera rolling. Shoot a few times. Because like the wind came up now, this grass is moving and stuff. So you want to just keep shooting and try to get as many creative shots you can.
All makes sense in the end.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
So this is kind of a longer section in here.
Can I get you guys to give each other a kiss real quick?
Because they're doing stuff before the ceremony.
Quick pack it in, pack it. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
You can hear me directing here.
Perfect. And one more, a little slower.
Because they're doing their ceremony or all these photos and stuff before the ceremony, it's just a lot more time earlier in the day, and we can get a lot of coverage. I don't love shooting at this time of day because you can see how harsh and direct the sunlight is.
Obviously, the evening sunset's your main time to film, but you want to just make sure you have lots of shots, lots of variety. I think in their final video, I probably used more of the stuff from sunset than this, just because, again, it looks so much better. You can see how harsh and directional. Like, if it was overcast, this would be fine, but since it's so bright, it's very difficult. I'm gonna get one too while you guys are just there. You're gonna go in and just do 2 little kisses, okay? So you can bring your heads out a little bit, just like that. Keep holding each other, and then when I say go, you're gonna go in and give like 2 really like cute kisses. No, slow, and cute. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Lots of direction.
Perfect. Thank
and
you.
just slow movement. And here is wedding day, Mason, with a check-in. Okay, so right now we have a little bit of extra time during the ceremony, so I'm just kind of taking a moment to make sure I have everything set up. Unfortunately, they're not going to be using a mic, so I kind of have to get a little bit strategic here with my placement of my microphones. So eventually, once I have those set up, I'll kind of show you what I'm going to do. It's probably going to be the groom wearing one, and then just one on the officiant as well, to try and get the best audio I can. Obviously, in these kind of situations, you just got to roll with the punches and make the best you can. So I'll show you the setup I have for my other 2 cameras here. So the first one's right here, and it's set up so that I can get either the groom or the bride's face during the ceremony during the ceremony. So it kind of aims straight through here, and then the other one over here is just the exact opposite shot, getting the opposite angle so that I have both for coverage. Normally you cut between the 2, especially for vows. So you can see here, there's going to be a camera right here getting this shot, and then I will just be hovering around to get the 3rd angle, which will be used for like the letter read that's going to be right here. So I'll kind of be hovering around, move in, so I can get some tighter shots of these, especially since I'm just one person filming these ceremonies. I like to just make sure that I have some accessibility to get around. And that's about it. We will kind of check in after the ceremony's over, but for now I'm gonna just get the rest of my things. Okay, yeah, so for mics, I'm gonna be using this lav right here. Then I have another one that I'm gonna hook onto the officiant. I'm just waiting to come and see what they're wearing to see how I'm gonna set that up. But let me get the sun on my face. There we go. So we will kind of just go from there and make sure we have everything ready to go at that point. But yeah, I'm gonna use this lav right here, and then I'll have a second one as well to film the other angle from. Just another detail in there too, I don't put lavs on the bride. I think it's way too invasive. It's annoying to try and get them to navigate a leg strap for the mic to sit in. So just mic up your groom and mic up your officiant. Mix the 2 audios to get the 2 audio files together, and you'll have clean audio from a wedding day. I think it's way too invasive to try and mic up the bride. Really, if you can, at every ceremony you do, if they can use a microphone, it's going to make your life so much easier, so that you can just record off of like your Zoom H5 or H6 or whatever you have. That is the cleanest file you'll get, but also use the lavs as backups. Normally, if the ceremony is using a microphone, I will record on the H5 as my main feed, and then I have a backup on the groom. And you can see here I'm starting to get some ceremony coverage, family and friends. Everyone's staring at me like, why are you filming me? I'm sorry, it's my job. And now it's showtime. This is when it all starts. So I am just recording right now on a gimbal and filming constantly, because you do not want to miss a moment here. Everyone's coming down in a really close line. The photographer probably did not like that. But for us on video, it's actually easier. One single shot. Here comes the groom. And yeah, just kind of be watching around, making sure you're in the best spot, making sure everything is looking good. You can see there's a transition from direct sunlight to shade here. So since I don't film anything in auto, I'm gonna have to adjust my camera for this transition here. So I'm kind of just like on standby right now, getting ready to change, right? There. You can see he's in the shade now. Also, you'll notice how far away I am, and that is done purposely so that I'm not standing in front of anyone during the ceremony, because that is such a pet peeve of everyone that's at the wedding. And I think that's kind of why I feel like a zoom lens is needed at a wedding, especially during the ceremony. Having that versatility is something that you will not regret having, and it's going to save you for sure.
Just going to have a few announcements ahead of time instead of after.
All right, so there was just a couple announcements that they did before the bride came down and the bridesmaids. But now they start to walk down, and I'm basically just in the same position. You can switch between sides if you want, if there's time to kind of jump back and forth between, but just notice that I'm not standing in front of the groom. I'm kind of off to the side, more in front of the groomsmen rather than the groom, so that he can actually see what's going on at his wedding. I also have a focus wheel on my gimbal, so I'm pulling focus constantly throughout this part of the day. I find autofocus is great, and there's cameras that have amazing autofocus. I have a camera that has amazing autofocus, but still, when it jumps between people, especially in a crowd, there's so many faces in here for it to detect off of, so you basically have to pull manual focus to get a good accurate read on what should be in focus. I think that you can use autofocus for detail shots early in the day, but for the majority of the day, I think you should be using manual focus. And I'm just kind of standing in one spot and doing slow movement just to make sure I don't miss anything. I mean, you can get a super cinematic shot, but if you don't get a good clean shot for the ceremony, the couple's not going to be very happy with you. So I just think getting good clean shots is the best way to go. And since I'm a solo wedding filmmaker, I'm getting as many shots as I can of the groom right now, because I will cut these into it looking like a reaction shot of her walking down the aisle. I think he thinks that I'm taking a shot of him, so he's smiling at me here, but I'm basically looking at his reaction looking down the aisle to try and get a reaction type shot of him for when she comes down. And even if you don't spin around in time to get like a reaction shot, you could use something like this as a reaction shot in the actual highlight video. And quite often too, I'll just hold this shot here until she actually is like just about to come down the aisle, and then I switch like this. So you can see like I'm when she's coming from the house, I'm not getting that shot because I think the shot down the aisle is the main one. So I'll basically film the groom's reaction until she shows up right there. Because he can see her the whole time, right? So if he's going to start tearing up, he's going to start tearing up. Also, you probably noticed that my camera is quickly adjusting the lighting, and that's just because I have an ND filter on it, which is also key for your ceremony because it really is helpful to just do quick little changes between different lighting situations. And I'm going to use it again right here when she hits the shade. Again, that's a really hard transition to nail between that shade that they're in now and that direct hard sunlight that everyone else is in. At least they're in the shade consistently, good clean shade for the entire ceremony. But yeah, transition like that, you basically just have to roll with and try your best. Nobody's going to be perfect in that situation. I'm certainly not. You just have to try and do what you can do.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome each of you, their guests.
Also, this is just a tip for anyone that is filming as a solo filmmaker. While I'm doing this, I've already hit record and kind of guessed where the camera should be on the bride and groom with my 2B cameras. And basically now I just film until everyone sits down, and then I'm going to run over to my other cameras and just check that they are focused correctly on the bride and groom. So you can see now the B cameras are set up and we're getting the other 2 angles during the ceremony. So now we're kind of pushing in and getting the shot of them getting the rings and putting the rings on. I move in decently close and then I just zoom right in, focus on their hands. I know at all times, you can see the B camera off to the left there, that's one shot. I know at all times, here I'll just show on the screen what every camera is showing right now at one time. So now you can see on the screen, I know those two B cameras are getting the shots that I need. So basically I'm not worried about getting their faces or whatever. I'm coming in with my third camera that's in my hands to get all the detail shots so that I can mix these 3 shots together.
As you place the ring on Matt's finger, please repeat after me. I give you this ring.
Also, shooting the way that I do here with 2 B cameras is sweet because when I film, or when I give them the ceremony video, I know that there's just 2 clean shots of everything that I can just mix those 2 shots together, sync all the audio, and that's it.
As symbols of the commitment to your marriage, and your wedding ceremony has been witnessed by all these wonderful people who care about you.
Always do a quick little push in here when they kiss.
Invested in me, you may seal your vows with a kiss.
Right there. And then I start to pull out right now. So you get 2 different versions of a shot. And then they're going to go jump into letter reads, which I film on the camera that's in my hands right now. So I'm static when I do this. I don't normally use too much of this in the final video. Just this shot right here. I'll do a slight kind of push or move around, whatever. Right there, sort of stuff. And that's pretty much it. And then I just kind of take my spot and make sure I film it all, because I'll use this to cut into the final ceremony video for the couple. Again, as I've mentioned, you can see like the shade where it ends right there. That's going to be a really hard transition. So almost in this situation, you want to just get ready and focus on the people that are in the crowd and just get their exposure proper. And then I'll just do a really quick transition between this spot here, and you'll see it in the final shot of what I mean by that.
Kindness, and you are always thinking of others. You two have married your best friend, and the 2 of you already, in such a short time, have found the kind of love that will last a lifetime and then some. Congratulations. We now give great pleasure to announce for the very first time Riley and Matthew Daly.
So they'll go in for one more kiss usually. And then basically I start pulling backwards right here. And there's the transition. And I'm just trying to make sure the photographer is not in the shot. And you just keep pulling. Getting your focus. They do one more kiss. Now there's 2 photographers here, so I just kind of try and work around them. Get back and get everybody else walking down the aisle, because that's going to be important for your final ceremony video, because those 2 cameras obviously aren't right down the middle. And don't be the person that comes to a wedding day as a videographer and sticks a tripod in the center of the ceremony space. Instantly your photographers are going to not like you. Just a fact. I'll normally just film until the parents walk down, and that's it. And that's kind of like the really stressful part of the day, is getting through the ceremony. So once you make it through there, congratulations, you've leveled up. This is the family photos, and like I said, like I normally will not stick around for a lot of this. It's very staged, very posed. It doesn't look great in video. It goes from like lots of movement and cool, unique cinematic shots to these really still family shots of everyone just kind of standing there posing, and I just find them not very fun to film or have in wedding films.
I'm gonna follow you when you go to get a drink. I'm gonna film it.
Okay.
Getting another shot here of the couple. They're walking back into the tent.
We're gonna go get a drink together. Mason's
I'm gonna follow you guys up when you get a drink.
So I'm just gonna follow them as they get a drink, as I just said.
Yeah, might as well.
And like, it's the simple things like this that literally end up being shots that are fun for your wedding video. And people are gonna cut in front of you and stuff like that, so you just have to be aware that you're gonna cut between shots, and you're not using a consistent 1 minute clip ever, so you know you can kind of cut around stuff and make it work in whatever way you need.
I'll just get you to pull one out, do a cheers, and we'll.
And then once they kind of got up to the tent here, I just wanted to snag one more shot of them opening a beer and kind of, after the ceremony shot of them relaxing and taking it easy.
Big smiles, nice and close.
I'm doing a little directing.
Cheers, have a drink. There we go. Yeah,
She wasn't able to do it with the flowers in her hand, so I just took them. Be generous.
that's okay. Whenever you're ready, big cheers and a drink. There we go.
And you should just try to stay happy and positive. If someone steps in your shot or whatever, just say, that's okay, no worries. Don't get mad. Like, couples pick up on that stuff quite often. If you're just a nice person and fun to be around on their wedding, that's what they want to see. We've now arrived at the reception. This is a walkthrough with Mason. So you can see it's inside a community hall, so the lighting is very orange. The floor is reflecting very orange. So that's just something you're going to have to kind of roll with on the wedding day. Make sure that you set your white balance. Don't shoot auto white balance. I can't believe I see so many photographers that shoot auto white balance, but for video, it really matters, and you don't want to shoot auto white balance, especially in the skin tones. If you start filming somebody, like a subject, the bride or groom, and then you switch from like this direction to the direction of the windows here, you're going to see the camera switch. It's white balance, and you're going to see that in skin tones, and you'll never be able to color correct that easily or in a fun way. It will be awful. And you can see here now I'm just taking you over to show you where my H5 is hooked up to. So basically what I do is I will just go find a speaker that the DJ has that has a master out on the back, and you can just plug your XLR in directly to it and just get a continuous feed of the entire event with everything. But there's no music playing while they have the speeches going. So you are able to get a good clean source of audio, and then that way you're not bugging the DJ every couple minutes when you go up to hit record. Unless you want to let it record the entire time, which I don't. I just record for the speeches. And I'm just kind of walking around, getting detail shots here. I always try and schedule about half an hour before everybody gets there to just kind of head in there while it's empty, get some great shots of the area, and yeah. Then it's just easier to have good clean shots for your video. Okay, so now we are moving into the entrances of the reception. So normally I just try to find a spot that's easy to kind of see them hit the dance floor in this type of situation, because you could assume they're going to do something, but I was incorrect at the start of this, so I just tried to move up as fast as I could and get a good clean shot of the reception. It's always hard to kind of judge what they're going to do because every wedding's so different. But yeah, eventually I got it figured out. I think that is kind of a good note on wedding videography and even photography. Wedding days are just so unpredictable, so you almost just kind of gotta be ready to go and jump into whatever situation comes. And every wedding's different. Some of them are really long. So this was the maid of honor and the best man. So basically once they got onto the dance floor, then I just decided that I'm not going to get the shot of them coming through that door on the far side. I'm going to get when the bride and groom actually enter the dance floor. Just in case they go into like a dance right away or something, you really don't want to miss that or be running through the crowd. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting yourself in a good position right off the start. You can see, like, you can't even really see them coming through. If I had been in there, it would have been worse. So I just get like this shot here of them kind of entering through the crowd and then onto the dance floor. And I think that that's going to look best for the actual highlight video. In terms of their entrances that I'm going to give them after, it is what it is, and that's just kind of the shot it is. And good thing I did pick this position because they did go right into their first dance. Sometimes you don't get these details, or sometimes they change throughout the day, so you just have to be ready and at any time to kind of, yeah, jump into action. So for my first dances, I usually just pick one spot. I have a zoom lens on at all times, so I'll just adjust between a tight 70 mil shot or a wider shot that's like 50 mil or something like that, a little bit wider. I always think, like, I see some videographers that like run around and get really close into the couple and like do some crazy shots for their highlight videos. But the only thing is, I'm always giving the couple the first dance videos, ceremony videos, things like that. So I'm also just thinking about those all the time. So I'm just basically going, okay, what's gonna work for my highlight video, and also what's just gonna be the cleanest video for the couple at the end. Because a lot of the times couples just want to watch their first dances. They don't want to watch the highlight video all the time. They just want to go back and watch their first dance. So you have to make sure you have a good first dance video as well. I'm just gonna jump ahead to the end here so that we don't have to spend the whole time here in the timeline. Okay, so now that we're getting into the end of their first dance, it's gonna cut out here on my GoPro filming this, but I'll just show you on the actual shot. So I'm gonna try to position myself in a good spot here to try and get their final kind of dip or kiss or whatever they're gonna do in that moment. You just try and get both of their faces in and just make it more of a enjoyable shot, because I do often use that a lot in the highlight video. Now we're carrying on. So during the speeches, I have those two cameras recording at all times. So I'll put them up in the bottom of the screen here. You can see what's filming. So I know everything's getting recorded at this moment. So I'm just jumping out to grab some more detail shots that I might have missed. So there was this table here of photos of people that have passed and things like that. And those are pretty sentimental to couples usually. So what I just do is head in and grab a couple quick shots of those. And I often will include those in the highlight video. And I would say the majority of the times that couples see those in highlight videos, they're super, super appreciative and really like them. So I definitely recommend, if you see a table like this, to get a shot of it and include it in your highlight video. Now you can kind of see my camera set up here. So that's what, I don't know, we'll call an A camera. So that is on the speakers. My light is to the left of it, just kind of lighting up the entire space. And then my B camera is just behind the photographer there, and it is getting the bride and groom's reaction throughout the whole, the entirety of the speeches. And sometimes I will just light speeches if it's really dark, which you can see in this space. It's extremely dark, so that light helped basically everyone, helped the photographers, helped myself. Just was great. Definitely recommend going and find yourself a little one of those. Here's some more speeches for the bride and groom. You can see I've switched both cameras to them, so there's two different angles of them now for the final video. I don't spend a lot of time filming speeches on my main camera. I don't use too much of it often in my highlight videos. I find it to be a little bit of like a, again, static time. Usually I'll dip around and get some reaction shots of the crowds, things like that, and throw in a shot or two, but I won't use very much of the speeches in my highlight videos. Welcome, you've made it to sunset. Not much of a sunset, kind of overcast, but it was pretty nice.
One of those two. So you guys can look away.
So this is where I would say you want to try and get the majority of your cinematic shots. The lighting's usually perfect. It looks the best, and normally the couple knows that these are the best kind of time to get shots like this. So they're gonna want to spend a little bit extra time with you, getting the shots.
So now we're gonna jump into the champagne pop.
The spray is cool.
3, 2, 1, here it goes.
The cork's okay too. I'm hidden.
Not yet. Now.
There we go. Yeah. Woo!
So I kind of let them spray it right at me. I think it makes a cool shot.
Take a sip of it too.
Try not to get your camera soaked, but I mean, if it's worth it for the shot, it's worth it for the shot,
There you
right?
go,
So
man. Take a sip.
just kind of covering them as they have a sip. Obviously, I would cut between a bunch of this stuff. He just launches it. That's awesome.
Guys, I wasn't recording.
Serious joke and said I wasn't recording, just to joke with them.
I was recording.
I'm so funny. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I got both of them. Bush is there. That's funny. Yeah, and then
And yeah, there's a bunch of other shots that kind of we get at this time. I don't know what happened to the actual clips. This wedding was a while ago, so I've cleaned up the filing system since then, but I don't have this raw file anymore.
So you can walk actually in towards me.
But I just thought I would show you kind of the coverage of what I'm doing during sunset. Like you're just kind of getting as many shots as you possibly can before the light goes away.
3, 2, 1,
And obviously in the summer you have a way bigger window than you do in the winter, because in the winter you have a terrible window for sunset.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. That was great.
Find somebody who wants to drink champagne.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting into the parent dances. So you can kind of see like, so firstly I have the audio turned way down on their song just for copyright issues. But I think you can still hear it, so might be still an issue. Anyhow, you can see I'm literally just standing in one spot. Again, if I was a couple and I was receiving this for like my first dances as the full videos and stuff like that, I would really hate to go to watch the first dance with my parent and have it be like where you see certain videographers like running in circles around the bride and groom, or they're like zooming so closely in, or just like running around doing wild things. I just keep one static shot. Like I said, I'm on a zoom lens so I can get a tighter shot. I can stay further away if I need to. You can see I'm even further away than the photographer is right now. And I am just kind of keeping my distance, letting them have a moment to themselves. And also very, very light on the color grading. I try to keep the first dances and things like that as like close to the actual colors. Obviously you can see in the GoPro video that floor is like extremely yellow, and then in the kind of final edited video it's more of like a darker, just like a better looking kind of orange floor color. But like those orange floors, like you'll see them in hotels and spaces like that, you get so much reflection off of those that it's going to reflect into people's skin. Same with those back lights that are kind of hanging off the wall and even around the wall. You can see how orange they are. That all is going to cast into skin tones like everywhere. So like if you can't get perfect skin tones in terms of they should be pretty close to perfect, but if you're getting like some orange cast or anything like that in these types of situations, I mean, it's literally nothing you can do. That's a completely uncontrolled environment. So just roll with what you can do on your end. Yeah, and just try your best. You can see that light off to the right still too. So I am lighting just like a profile kind of shot of them for their first dances, and you can see the difference between my main camera and the kind of behind the scenes camera, how much it actually is bringing them out. The blacks aren't completely crushed. So that's something to consider. You can see the light there again now in the bottom video. I'm matching it to the lights that are in the space. So I'm not doing like a cool blue. I'm matching it exactly with the lights that are actually in that room. So yeah, we'll jump in. I'll show you the mother-son dance too. All right, yeah, mother-son dance. Same kind of setup. You can see I just went out of focus there. I'm pulling focus still as I go. The old camera I had in this situation does not have great autofocus. And even in cameras that do have good autofocus, there's a lot of faces in the background there. So you got to be careful, because if their backs are turned to you like that, your camera's going to start to wander to the faces in the back. So I still go manual focus almost the entire wedding day. And again, you can see it. Look how far back I am. And the photographers are getting super, super close, right, to get their tight shots. But since I'm on a zoom, I mean, I can get even closer if I wanted to, just by pulling my zoom lens quick. But yeah, like, it's the way that I've been filming first dances and things like that for a while. I've always used a zoom lens, and I think I always will use a zoom lens just because of the versatility. And when you're filming a wedding, like, you're literally running, gunning all day. It's not like you're set to one thing, so Prime lenses are sweet, they look awesome, but unless you have time to kind of like set up and play with them, I mean, that is a tough one to swing. I don't have time to do that on my wedding days. I'm running and gunning and trying to fit as much stuff in as I can. And I've done this for a while now, so it kind of, I'm happy with what I'm using. It's turning out great, so yeah. Green Day playing in the background. Hope you have the time of your life. So I forgot to put my camera on at the end, so I just pulled over quick, but that is about the end of the day. I wrapped up, packed all my gear up. I give myself about, before my time runs out, I give myself about 20 to 30 minutes to pack everything up to make sure that it's in the time frame that I quoted for. You obviously don't want to be cleaning up after you're done your service. You want to have that included in your actual service. So I'm done for the night. I'm heading home. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you found it helpful. Maybe this will help. How's that? Kind of worse. If you did, give a thumbs up, subscribe. There's gonna be more wedding content coming like this. I'm gonna just take you through my entire year, wedding by wedding, and just show what each wedding has to offer. This was a very unique wedding that we just did. Obviously, backyard, a little bit different than the bigger venues. Next week, we have another one that's similar, and then we're gonna carry on through the month. There is a couple that'll be at bigger venues, wineries, things like that. So stay tuned, subscribe, like this video, and make sure to turn on your notifications so you can see everything that comes out when we post it. I'm gonna get off the side of the road here and head home, but that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.